From multi-use linen to branded floor coverings and a complete range of cleaning supplies, C&B Linen is here to make sure you have everything you need. You'll experience the difference with C&B Linen because you're not just a client, you're part of our family. You'll be winning with C&B Linen.
From the Tennessee Valley Weather Channel, this is your weather at noon.
Well, good Thursday afternoon. I'm Taylor Plott here with your latest forecast, and we've got a lot of cloud cover across the area this afternoon. That's going to be keeping our temperatures on the cooler side, but we have changes coming down the road, including the chance at a few thunderstorms, maybe some severe storms. So let's get right into it. Let's take a look at the flash flood watches that are currently in place. No watch as of yet for parts of northwestern Alabama, places like the Shoals down to Russellville, but everywhere else we have a flash flood watch, and that will be for our system coming in on Saturday. We're done with the rain today. We're not going to be seeing rain tomorrow. This is going to be a Saturday flash flood potential, and that's just going to go on top of what we've already been seeing across the area rain-wise over the past few days. Taking a look at the cameras across the area, you can definitely see where we're talking about our cloud cover. It's just this thick, low-level cloud sheet that's just kind of moving on in across the area. It should start to lessen up a little bit as we get into the afternoon and evening hours, but because it's firmly in place right now, we're already at noon. That's going to be keeping our high temperatures from getting up into the middle 40s, I think, today. I think most places end up staying in the upper 30s and lower 40s. Right now, Viper radar, like I mentioned, it's crystal clear out there. No rainfall across the area, but there's those temperatures like I'm talking about, 36 in Lawrenceburg, 37 in Florence, 39 in Moulton, and 37 in Huntsville. That cloud cover is just going to be keeping these temperatures from getting too high today. So definitely want to bundle up out there. But like I mentioned, we're nice and dry at least. The rains continue to move off to the east. This will give us a little bit of a break, but like I mentioned, we're going to have more of those flooding potential start to move on through once we get into your Saturday. High pressure moving on in. That's going to have that breezy northwest wind across the area, gusting anywhere from 20 to 25 miles per hour at times. Let's take a look at your future cast. I think this is overdone a little bit. Obviously, 1 o'clock, we're not going to be getting up to 40 degrees here in Lawrenceburg or 44 in Florence. So take these and kind of deduct it by a handful of degrees. But what we're watching for is this cloud cover. Again, it's going to be thick for the next several hours, but once we get into the afternoon, I think we'll start to get a little bit more break in the cloud cover. That will give us a bump in the temperatures just a little bit, but we'll come crashing back down tonight. Temperatures getting down into the 20s for the majority of the area. Midnight tonight, already 30 in Florence, 27 in Lawrenceburg, 25 in Hohenwald. There will be places, especially once you get closer to the I-40 corridor, that could be flirting with the upper teens in some of your typical colder spots. Hohenwald coming in at 23 degrees by the time we wake up for your Friday morning. Everybody is going to be in the 20s, so definitely need to bundle up on your way out to work or school for your Friday morning. During the day on Friday, we're dry, but clouds will start to move back in across the area. Temperatures generally around 50. I think most places get up towards 50 degrees once we get into the afternoon hours on your Friday. Here's that cloud cover I'm talking about again today. It's just going to be situated for the next several hours, maybe some peaks of sun by the time we get to 4 p.m. this afternoon, and that will get those temperatures probably up towards that 40-degree mark. All right, let's talk about Saturday, because this is our next focus now. We had that rain that moved through yesterday, that severe weather threat that happened towards our south yesterday. So now our focus is going to be what happens on Saturday. So this is starting off on Friday, giving you a heads up on the beginnings of this system. We'll start to see a lot of moisture being pulled in from the south, strong southerly winds moving across the area for your Saturday, and that's going to bring that warm, moist, unstable air across the area and set the stage for a severe weather chance. One of the things we'll have to watch for is where this band of heavy rain sets up across parts of Tennessee. I think it's close to the I-40 corridor. Where this sets up, you're going to be getting some flooding issues, possibly some big-time flooding issues for your Saturday as you get that just continuous round of rain, heavy rain, some thunder and lightning. I don't think there's much of a severe threat that far north. I think you're more of a flooding potential up towards the I-40 corridor. But south of that, notice or nice and dry. And that's going to set the stage for those storms that will develop later on into the day. As we get into midnight, I think by that time we're just dealing with a big line of storms situated from parts of Kentucky down into Tennessee, down to Alabama, and then eventually down into Mississippi. Anywhere along this line, you could get a quick spin-up tornado. There's enough shear in place for that. The big thing we're watching for is what happens before this line moves through. Are there any scattered storms that develop out ahead of it? Those would be your supercells, and that would give us our bigger chance at seeing an isolated tornado or two. Now, this moves through during the overnight hours, and then we're done. And then Sunday is going to kind of be like what we're dealing with today. Cloud cover sits across the area for the majority of the day. We're cool, high pressure begins to move on in, and we start to dry on out across the area. Then we get cold again behind that cold front. So let's talk about that severe weather forecast. This is coming from the Storm Prediction Center. The majority of our area is still under a level 2 out of 5. That's a slight risk for severe weather. We do note that there is that enhanced risk, that level 3 out of 5 further to the south. There's a chance this gets moved a little bit further to the north, but right now we're still situated at that level 2 out of 5. I do think the best chance of severe weather will remain generally to our south. That's where models are hinting at the best dew points, the best instability across the area, that kind of very moist, unstable air mass. I don't think it gets very far north, but we're right on the edge between getting a greater chance of severe weather or just sticking it with that lower end. So for now, tornadoes still remain possible for your Saturday. Again, timing late afternoon into the overnight hours. We'll watch for any storms that develop ahead of that line. So tornadoes and high wind, that's kind of your main risk on a severe scale, talking about actual storms. I don't think there's going to be a huge tornado risk with this as it looks right now. Maybe a little bit more of a chance of some damaging winds with that line that moves on through. But again, the flooding risk is something that we'll definitely have to keep an eye on. And like I mentioned, wherever that big band of rain sets up, right now it looks like it's close to that I-40 corridor. That's where you're going to have a lot more of a flooding potential across the area. It could be pretty substantial in places that could be seeing several inches of rain in a matter of just a few hours. Your 7-day forecast, again, going back to what's happening today, clouds keeping those temperatures on the lower end of things. Then we'll drop back down into the 20s overnight tonight. Here's a look at your 7-day forecast. Again, that severe weather chance on Saturday. Temperatures getting up right around 70 degrees for your high. We're drying out on Sunday. Temperatures getting a little bit cooler. And then, yes, what's that on Wednesday? There is a chance, yes, a chance at some wintry weather on your Wednesday. We'll have to keep an eye on that. Stick with us here at the Tennessee Valley Weather Center for your latest on that and the severe weather risk.
You're watching the Tennessee Valley Weather Channel.